Good morning and welcome to West Coast Model Battleships. I am your host Dave, and today I am going to be doing review part 1 of the 1/200 scale Trumpeter USS Arizona. The reason I'm doing it in 2 parts, this kit is massive, has a lot of parts, and comes with some extra stuff in there. I got the deluxe kit that came with the wood decking and some photo etch in it. So I will be breaking this down into 2 parts. I'm going to try to give you some of the corrections that have been found that need to be done to the kit. I'll give you some reference material and go over part 1 with as much as I can, and then we'll dive into part 2 to give you a little more detail on what's happening. So with that, I'll spin this thing around. I'll show you some of the paperwork and reference material. I've got some close-up pictures from some of the reference material that I hope will help you out if you decide to do this one in the 200 scale to make a more accurate and authentic looking Arizona. If you decide to do the 1/350 scale, there's a gentleman out there by the name of Charles Landrum. You can Google him up, Charles Landrum Arizona build. He did the Trumpeter, back then it was Banner, 1/350 scale, and made a lot of corrections to it. He also backdated it to prior to the attack, but he does make the corrections that are accurate to that kit. Is some of you know that kit is not very accurate. I believe that Banner at the time bought the wonderful 1/426, I believe it was, scale Arizona mold and took it to 1/350. A lot of discrepancies, a lot of mismatched parts, fit problems, as Brian's well aware of. So I will go over this one in a little more detail. I have taken it out of the box, I have played with the parts, and have found a couple little things, but overall I would have to say this is an awesome kit. So with that, I'll spin this thing around, show you some of the stuff in there, give you a little more in-depth detail, and I hope you enjoy it. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. We're going to start with the instruction booklet right here, and my fancy new little shish kebab pointer painted red on the end. So this is the 1/200 scale USS Missouri by Trumpeter, and it's the deluxe kit. This is a 36-page instruction booklet that has some pretty good detail. Has your parts lists and all the parts that come with it, plus the decking and the photo etch. Get in here. So here's your veneer decking and your photo etch parts, and it shows that on top. It is very good that I have found so far. The only thing that I would recommend is a nice, good, strong PE set to go with this to replace the plastic ladders that I've found in here. And there is something that I will put in here as we get towards the back, right here. So they call these, let me zoom in if I can, get this in here for you. Right here there's 2 gun tubs that are on the back of the ship. These were referred to as the bird bath gun tubs. No equipment was ever installed in there, but the instructions call them to be flat on the deck. They are actually raised up on a pedestal. So you're going to have to modify these to make this correct. With some research, we also found that the tripods that I found, the tripod legs that Brian's been playing with, do not go down to the main deck. And when I do the next review, hopefully I'll get in there and show you when this is all put together where those legs go. They actually go down a deck below the O1 level here. So that's one thing that I have found there, plus these and a few other little things that aren't mentioned in there. So that's the instructions booklet. Looks like 36 pages. It also comes with a painting program. Your choice to do it with the gray turrets or the red turrets. This has been debated probably since the day of the attack. There's eyewitnesses that say there is. There's eyewitnesses that say there's not. All the documents were destroyed by the U.S. Navy shortly after she was stricken from the list. So there is no documentation or photographic evidence that these were red or they weren't red. It's your choice. Make it the way you want. The official model over in Pearl Harbor has her with red turret tops. Your choice. Comes with 2 sheets of decals. The American flag, Jack, and the little stars and circles for the 2 float planes on there. They are protected with a covered sheet, which is kind of nice. That way you don't mess them up. And a full set of decals with the signal flags that the Navy uses still today. So you can put those on there. I don't think she had any flags on her the day of infamy. So, okay. Let me pause this, and I'm going to bring it over. Well, actually, I'll show you this. If you decide to do this kit and you want it to be as accurate as possible, I would recommend spending the money and getting this book right here. Zoom out. This book is by Paul Stilwell, and it is probably the most accurate and well-detailed reference material for the Arizona up until even the dismantling and salvage of what they could off of the ship all the way to the memorial being built. This is where I found about the tripods not going to the main deck, and also the little bird bath gun tubs that never had anything installed there. They were supposed to be 1.1 inch anti-aircraft guns that were never installed there. So I would recommend this. You can find it on Amazon. I believe it retails for about 46 bucks for the paper cut or the paperback, and I believe the hardback's a little cheaper. Your choice. Awesome reference material, more pictures than you can shake a stick at. I would strongly recommend this for your reference material. Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way, and we'll be back with the haul. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to show you the bottom part of the hull first. This is a 2-piece hull. Hopefully, I can get all this in here. This is a massive hull. It is designed if you would like to motorize this. It has everything in spots to put the motors. It does not come with motors, but it does come with all the required shafts. Little steel shafts. Chrome to offset them and everything else. Give you an idea of how long and big this thing is. This measures out at 36 inches. So it's quite a beast of a hull. And like I say, it's 2-piece. The one thing I have noticed about this one is instead of having the little lip on the inside, this is on the center. Hopefully I can get that in there. This is on the center line, and the upper hull has a groove in the middle to help tighten this up. So you don't have those big gaps that you get on the 2-piece hull. And so I added some little stuff here. If you would like to do it, I know they're just kind of stuck on there. This is just some pen striping. But there's 2 reinforcing lines, plating that goes on the bottom of the hull if you want to add that. And then there's 2 here, back here, shorter ones, and there's 2 in the top near the bow, right in here, that go on there. And I'll include a I don't think I have a picture of that, but I read in one of the things talking about adding it. And for the hull, let me see if I can get this here for you. When she had the torpedo blisters added on, they also did some 1, 2, 3, and this bottom one kind of curves in, of reinforcing over the seams of the torpedo blister. I would recommend probably something like half round styrene stock to imitate those, but it is on the ship. I will include a picture. And the bottom of it looks pretty good. There's a couple little seams or little grooves and raises here, but there is right here a huge dimple that will have to be filled, and there's some lines up top right here that will have to be sanded and smoothed. Otherwise it looks pretty good. There's a small little dimple on the hull here, which I'm assuming is probably for a mount point. Yep, it's one on each side. Good lines there. If you would like to, you could probably go ahead and add and scribe your hull plating. You can cover it up with the half round that I recommended. So I'm going to put this down and grab the top piece. Say, this thing is massive. I can imagine doing a Missouri in this. Would be, I think we measured it out 54 inches. So I'm going to try to get in here as good as I can. But right here in the center is a nice groove that goes all the way down to attach it to the bottom of the hull there. So you're not going to get that flex in that we normally get from two-piece hulls and all that. Okay, I'm going to pause this real quick. I'm going to set this on top and kind of give you an idea and show you where I found one little problem with it, but otherwise not bad. Okay, I'm back. I've got the top connected to the bottom, and like I say, there's not much of a gap here to worry about on the side. It's pretty good. The only thing that I found so far with the fit is if you put pressure down on the bow here, it's got a little bit of a warp to it, which is not too bad. Something, some bands tape to hold it down when you glue it. That's the only fit issue I've seen so far. If you decide to do this without the deck, you're going to have a hard time, pull this off, with the seam lines right here. This is going to be real hard to get through the deck. The decking on here is crisp, but there is no defining lines between the two. It's just straight lines coming down. So that's something to consider. Here's the part I was talking about. Let me get that back in there. Right here. This needs to be lifted off the deck on both sides because they were lifted. Nothing was ever installed in them. They did it in January of 91, or correction, 41. Added these here plus the little bird bath on top of the aft fighting top. So let me set this back down. It is rather thick plastic. You won't need any reinforcing on that. Let me get this thing popped off. There's good fit on the deck going in. The bow has a little problem, but it is reinforced along here. So you're not going to need too much in there. If you put something under there, make sure you drill that out because there's two pegs that go here to bring it in together. Now on the bow, this one, same thing, has the two little pins in there, but there is a bow in the middle. It's going to have to be addressed. So I can pop that out. And this is just dry fitted. There is two nubs where they cut it off. You can see these ones here, and there's two here that'll probably need to be shaved off and cleaned so that this sits there. There's a little flash on the front of this, which that's probably what's causing that bow. So make sure you take care of that, or you're going to have that bow in the deck, even if you put your veneer deck on there. Okay, so let's get to the side. There's lots of portholes that are going to need to be drilled out. They do have some molded on rings. The molded on detail that I've seen so far in here is awesome. So you may be able to save some time instead of trying to put brass rings around each one of these. Is use what you got, smaller bit, save those, and you got it made. Even up top, everything's good. They have spots for the photo etch to go in. I know Big Ed's make one, and there's another one I found called, I'll try to put a link in there. It's MK1, I believe it is, and it's rather expensive for this ship, but it comes with everything. I know that certain people have had some problems with the Big Eds, so, okay. Let me get this out of the way, and I will bring in the frets that I have so far, and we'll call that part one for you. There's a lot of parts on this ship, you believe it or not, as detailed as this thing is. All right, let me get this going, and I'll be right back. Okay, back once again. So we have the O1 level here, and there's a lot of good detail. The thing I do like about this is where this stuff sits, it's recessed in, which is rather nice. The 1/350 scale kit does not have this structure here. If you do decide to do that, you're going to have to add that one in there underneath that, the superstructure here. Good crisp detail. You can see that there's good lines and mold spots to add the plastic, and I'm assuming the photo etch is probably the same way. If not, the plastic on this is detailed. You're probably going to save a lot of work by using the plastic, which has a good detail. When I do part two, I'll show you the fighting tops. Awesome detail. So there's all the holes are good. There's not much flash. There's a little bit here and there. This is the first one I've actually seen that has the funnel actually cut out, which is kind of nice. But otherwise, it's good. It's detailed. It's not too flimsy. As you can see, it's rather thick. It's almost as thick as that pointer, Brian Stabber. Yeah. I like your black eye, by the way, Brian. Good sturdy plastic. Okay. Let's get into fret K, which is the 14-inch guns. Get this out a little bit. Zoom in. Okay. There are 4 sets of guns on the Arizona, so you get 4 sets of guns and frets. They are detailed. It does come with the metal barrels. They are actually shorter than the required ones, so I ordered some of those. I'll take a picture of those and add those into here too. It does have molded on blast bags, which are nice. So you don't have to build your own. It has the guns and the recoil springs, the recoil section in there where you mount them. Good detail in there. The only thing that's missing is on one turret. I believe it's the forward front one, has the degaussing cable. It was on there. Good detail on top with rivets. Kind of hard to see. Hopefully you can see them. Good faceplate. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I don't think you're going to need a lot of photo etch except for maybe the degaussing cable. Pardon me. There are, as you know, a lot of motor launches on the Arizona. And this is fret J. And I tend to mark mine in the corners with a pin. It's easier to see. And I also put tape on them. That way I can find them a lot easier, and I number them what the fret is. So there's two of this. They come with the part of the launches and the smaller launches, crew launches, and then there's one with a lot more. But I don't see a lot of flash. Good detail, crisp. No mold lines, no injection pin marks on the undersides, which is kind of nice. I'm sure that I believe when I get to the veneer deck, there's veneer that go on these, so you don't have to worry about it. Add it to it. I know Brian's been doing that. And it even has, I don't know if you can see that right there, There's even propellers on here. They're already pre-done. So that's kind of nice. Okay, let's get over to the next fret. And this one is H. H has the captain's launches, the officer's launches, and the boat holders that go on the deck. I would recommend, I mean, they're crisp and clean, but I would recommend the photo etch. You have your anti-mine fouling cutter there, and the reels that are right here are actually very good. You could use some of that easy line and wind these so you get a little more detail on those. You definitely want to fill in these little portholes here with some of the canopy glue so it's clear. Give it a little more. These are crisp and detailed. I would not be using any of the molded ladders. Use photo etch for sure. There's two. Well, that's the only one. Nope. Sorry about that. There is 4 frets of this, of one I just showed you. So you're gonna have some extra parts in case you lose some or the carpet monster gets them. I don't feel a lot of mold release on here. Definitely would strongly recommend washing it in warm soapy water as always. And if you don't use gloves after handling parts, I like to spray mine down with a little 90% alcohol water mix and then wipe it with a paper towel. Keep that stuff down. Okay, we're going to come to the last fret because I know this is getting long and you guys are getting bored. But this one is L. And it appears to be small detail parts for certain areas. There's 4 of these, like I say. There's a lot of these four ones in there. So that's what I've got that in part 1 for you. I hope this is helpful. I will work on part 2 and try to get it out next week. I was going to get this out sooner, but you know, so we're going to jump back up and give you my thoughts, and we'll let you go. Okay, I know you've heard enough of me windbagging along, but I like to say this is a beautiful kit. It's probably the best detailed Arizona out there. The Revell kit, hate it. The 1-350 has a lot of problems with it. It's not accurate. Like I say, I believe that Banner at the time bought the the Revell kit and increased it to 1-350. You can do it. It's just going to take a lot of scratch building and time. Ask Brian. The struggles he's gone through trying to get his as accurate as can be. I will do part 2. I'm hoping to get it out next week. I was hoping to get this out a little earlier. Dealing with a little back injury, strained my back. Haven't been able to sit too long. Great reference material. The stuff that I'll put pictures of it in there. It can be found on Amazon. Great book. I know Brian has another one. It's not as there. He ordered one for his. So I will try to get part 2 out next week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, you want some close-up pictures, I will be more than glad to take them and email them to you to help you out. And if you need a shop card, drop me an email. I'll put it at the end, and I'll get one in the mail for you. On that note, this is Dave at West Coast Model Battleships, and I am out of here.